let's go.
This regularly scheduled meeting of the Continuing Education Committee of the Board of Architectural and Engineering Examiners is taking place in 308 Feathering-Gill Hall at Vanderbilt University in Nashville, Tennessee. And notice of this committee meeting was posted on the board website on September 25th, 2017. Can we have a roll call?
Susan Ballard. Ricky Bursine.
Here.
Blair Parker.
Here.
Frank Wagster.
Here.
Catherine Ware.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Get on the right page here. All right, we'll start out with new business, and guess what it is? Potential rule and policy changes.
Yes.
And would you like to go over that again?
Sure, I can do that. It's on page 27 on your iPads. Everybody need an iPad? We've got plenty of them.
Yes, please.
There you are. Page 27. Well, there's only one item on the agenda for this meeting. All right, so I can kind of go over the changes. These are all discussed at the last meeting, but just for a refresher, look at them again. We did make a few minor modifications to them, mostly just formatting. So to start out, page 29 of the rulemaking hearing notice, we have the basic requirements rule. Originally, we had these broken out into a separate rule for each profession, and the attorneys within our department felt it might be better to put them all under one rule and just have different paragraphs for each profession, just for consistency's sake, so that we wouldn't have to modify rule citations in a lot of documents and so forth. It would be better just to keep all the requirements under that one rule. So the first paragraph addresses architects, and it does require architects to obtain 12 hours per calendar year, all of which must address health, safety, welfare subjects, and that's consistent with the NCARB model law. It phases out carryover hours beginning in 2021, so it provides probably will provide over 2 years' notice that they're being phased out. So it gives registrants ample notification. And it does define HSW. Again, that's following the NCARB model. Paragraph 2 relates to engineering requirements. Again, phases out carryover in 2021. And paragraph E does provide an alternative option where they can obtain their hours on a calendar year basis if they choose to do so. They don't have to do that, but it gives them that flexibility where they could obtain 12 hours per calendar year. Now, originally, the way I had this drafted, it required a majority of the hours on that calendar year option to address health, safety, welfare subjects. To make it more consistent with the other paragraphs, that's been changed in this draft to 7. But the reason I put majority in there originally was because right now, in that 2-year renewal cycle where you obtain 24 hours every 2 years, only 13 of your hours have to be health, safety, welfare. And with this paragraph saying 7 now, if you follow the calendar year option, then you've got to get 14 hours of health, safety, welfare. So technically, this is requiring more than what we previously required. So I don't know if we want to tweak that.
We can stick with majority. We just need to explain the reasoning. Our chief counsel was thinking that 7 would be more clear, so there wasn't any questions as to what the majority was. But if it changes between 12 and 14, then it would be better to put majority in there.
Yeah. Or could we say 6.5? I don't know if we want to do that or not.
Or you could say 7, let it be 14.
Let it be 14.
Yeah, I mean,
Just leave it at 14, you think?
Again, with our definition of health, safety, welfare, it's everything.
It's everything.
So 14.
Well, that's for architects.
What this right here?
Oh, you're talking about the policy for engineers.
Everything's health, safety, welfare.
I gotcha. Okay.
And so 14 is just as good as 13.
Okay, yeah.
Same thing.
So you're okay just leaving it at 7 then, but it does kind of give the appearance that we're actually raising the requirement by 1 hour, but.
I can bring that up.
Yeah, but originally our language in all of our rules said majority, but apparently people had difficulty understanding what constituted a majority, so we had to clarify that it had to be, 13 hours or whatever. So. But, okay, so we could just leave it majority then, I suppose.
I think that'll be fine.
Y'all seem to be okay with
Yeah.
that. Or, I'm sorry, leave it at 7. What was
Leave
the?
it at 7.
Leave
Yeah,
it at 7. Okay, I'm
7.
sorry.
We love 7.
I'm getting mixed up here. All right, leave it at 7. All right, landscape architects. Basically, it's the same as the engineers currently, the way it's drafted. So not really any. I don't think there's any difference at all in the wording there. And Blair had talked at one time about potentially raising the health, safety, welfare requirement for landscape architects, but the feedback you received was not from ASLA.
I don't really have an official feedback from ASLA. Those that I spoke to didn't really have a problem with increasing it, but I don't really have any feedback. And I would
Yeah.
like to have some feedback.
Before trying to do that, yeah, okay. And then for paragraph 4 is interior designers. And for them, we didn't make many changes at all. We were retaining the carryover hours for them because Susan felt like in their situation it would be better to continue to allow the carryover hours. We did add in paragraph E this alternative option to obtain hours on a calendar year basis, and it does define health, safety, welfare. Basically, we just moved the existing policy for HSW for interior designers into the rule. So the wording is essentially the same as the current policy. And page 33, credits, we added language specifying that PDHs can be acquired at any location if the continuing education provider prescribes a customary time for completion of such an activity. Then such prescribed time shall, unless the board finds the prescribed time to be unreasonable, be accepted as the registrant's time for PDH purposes, irrespective of actual time spent on the activity. That language comes from the NCAR model law. And originally we had it in the definition section, but it was felt that it would be more appropriate to place it in the credits rule. And again, the exemptions rule is amended, bottom of page 33, to allow the board to grant an exemption or extension of time to obtain credits in the event of a physical disability or other extenuating circumstances. And then repealing the last rule, which becomes obsolete. It's on page 34. And that's it in a nutshell.
That's all I got. We've discussed this several times in other meetings, and Catherine and Kathy and Ricky, I don't think you were here, but if y'all got any questions on this?
Well, I've been here for all the discussions.
Have you?
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't have any problems with it.
Okay.
Do you want a motion, or you just want to put it on consent?
Well, I guess, the committee could make a motion to
Bring it.
adopt the rulemaking hearing notice.
Recommend
recommend.
Rulemaking notice at the board meeting on Friday.
Right. Then the committee could move for the board to adopt the rulemaking hearing notice.
Yes.
Right, okay.
And I think some of you weren't here in the previous committee meeting. These rules will be by rulemaking hearing. So at the board meeting on Friday, we'll vote to approve the rulemaking hearing notice, which also approves the date that the rulemaking hearing is held, which most likely, if you all are agree to this, is the board meeting in December. I think that'd be easier than having you all come in for another meeting.
Another meeting, yeah.
So if the committee wants to make a motion to recommend that the full board adopt the rulemaking hearing notice along with the date of the rulemaking hearing, that would be something that you could move.
So move. What she said.
Does it need a second?
It does.
I second.
All right, have a motion and a second, and this is for the Continuing Education Committee to recommend for the board to adopt the ruling or have the rulemaking hearing. I'm stuttering around here, but anyway. Is there any?
It'll go to a vote at the full board.
Yes. So is there any discussion? There being no discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And as luck would have it, that's all we seem to have on our agenda. Is there any new or other business that we need to discuss? If not, we could entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn. Let's adjourn. Thank you all. I have not, but I will. You're the new chairman of the engineering.
Speaking of that, before we meet, I think it would be good if we have our attorney here to talk just for a minute with the engineering committee, since we've got a couple things and we've got a little bit of a switch over